Hi, Hidden Triforce. Welcome to the 6th episode of Smashing Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Witowitz, and joining me again are Tristan, Adam, and Norma. Welcome to the show again, guys. Thank
Hi,
you
everybody.
Thank you so much for hosting, as always. So, today we got, in our news sections, very interesting piece of news. I guess Nintendo is dabbling a little bit in the cereal outlets with a upcoming Super Mario cereal.
With amiibo support on the box.
So
you press the amiibo to the box and it loads in different versions of the marshmallows.
There you go. I think what it does is in Super Mario Odyssey, it'll give you like a heart, like that third extra heart thing.
Oh yeah.
But in real life.
Maybe coins too. I'm not sure.
That's what I read. That it just gives you like extra hearts and coins, and maybe in if they make one for Breath of the Wild, it'll probably give Link a delicious balanced breakfast.
Yeah.
Just a bowl of cereal, a delicious balanced breakfast for any growing hero.
I think it should be a rare unlock to unlock the actual cereal box in Mario Odyssey, but it's a costume.
So he's just wearing the box.
Yes, he's just wearing the cereal box, running around.
When he gets into that, what level would that be on?
All the levels. Or the what is it? The food world.
Oh yeah, the gummy one. Well, not really gummy. It's kind of like a weird candy gummy world, but not.
Yeah.
Not like the fake food exhibit stuff. At your grandma's house.
Like taffy or something.
I can still see it.
So the question is, would you guys buy it? I think it comes out December 11th.
I would, yeah.
I would buy it like I buy
two.
Blueberry or Count Chocula.
Well,
I would buy it so whenever I see it.
Well, considering Nintendo's...
Careful, guys, because... Sorry, Zach. Be careful, guys, because it's going to be like $4. It's a box of cereal. But people are going to buy crap tons and then try to sell it for like $30, $40 on eBay.
Yeah, people are
cereal.
Yeah, I was just about to say, given Nintendo's track record with high demand, limited supply, people are going to be buying this stuff in troves, and I'm not going to be able to get my cereal. I have to go on Amazon to buy a $30 box of cereal, which originally would cost me about $5
or less.
Or less, depending on what supermarket you go to. So that'll be interesting to see, especially how it tastes. My guess is probably, from what I saw from the pictures, it looks very Lucky Charms-ish. Like you got the little wheat kernels with possible Mario shapes from the Mario series, like maybe coins or the mushrooms.
Mushrooms, yeah.
Yeah, gotta have me some shrooms in my cereal. That'll taste good.
It's part of waking up. It's in a bowl of cereal.
You gotta power up for the rest of your day.
Exactly. Well, it better not be
So what if Mario was eating psychedelic shrooms and the Mushroom Kingdom is just a really good trip?
I think College Humor has a couple of videos on that.
I think so.
That would explain every single Mario game, because they just have weirder and weirder level designs that just make you go, okay, yeah, Mario's got to be on something. This is ridiculous.
I think Super Mario Brothers 3, I think that one was come out as I think it was by Nintendo. They were like, yeah, number 3 is supposed to be a stage performance.
True.
Because all of the hanging stuff and the clouds and the bolts and stuff in the background and bushes.
The clouds have eyes. The hills have eyes.
Yeah, the clouds. Yeah, everything has eyes, and everything is just especially there was one I remember. I don't remember what world it's in, but you're riding on a bunch of little linear following platforms, and there's Paracoopas and all that, little Paragoombas and stuff, and it's one of the levels that just sticks out for me. But that one I was like, this kind of looks like the rafters of a theater, especially when I was a little kid. And then to hear that come true, I was like, hey, yeah, this is cool.
Super cool.
And now we get to have theater rafter cereal.
Super Mario Bros. 2 was a dream in Subcon.
It was indeed. Well, speaking of...
Sorry.
You got that?
All right, so speaking of Mario, Nintendo, this isn't confirmed yet by Nintendo, so take it with a grain of salt as usual. But there's rumors that Nintendo has been in talks with Illumination Studios to make a Mario movie. And it'll be animated, so that's good. For those of you who don't know, Illumination Studios are the guys behind Despicable Me and the Emoji Movie. So they're
go either
like
way.
They're like the cheap end of animation. You got your top end like Pixar and Disney, and then you got your low end like Illumination Studios. So
You got the poor man's Pixar.
As long as I don't get any minions in my Mario world, then I'll be fine.
if anything, I think it would be Rabbids because of the crossover with Mario plus Rabbids.
But the rabbits are funny. I love the rabbits.
This is true.
They are now.
The
They
rabbits
are now. They didn't used to be, but they are now.
Oh, I thought them hilarious back then, but
Was-
if that's the case now, I'll probably be laughing my butt off.
Yeah.
I'll be on the floor
That was an
laughing.
unlikely combination that was called 7 years ago. I feel like a lot of people knew that was coming. They were like, oh, they're going to put Mario with this.
It's not surprising. Again, it's a perfect storm of insanity.
It works. It's a good game. I'm having fun with it.
Heard.
I should definitely get it. So yeah, that could definitely go either way. But again, given the track record of video game movie adaptations, so far it always leans toward this is absolute crap. With the exception of, well, in my opinion, Castlevania. I thought Castlevania was an excellent adaptation.
I think
I love Castlevania.
I think the only really good video game movie I've ever seen in my entire life is Silent Hill.
I have to agree
movie
with that.
I haven't seen that, and I know there's a sequel too. I haven't seen any of them.
The sequel's garbage. I don't know why they made a sequel. They ruined it. It was stupid. I watched it. I hated it. The first one is the only good one. Don't even bother with the sequel. Just watch the first Silent Hill. It is so
Tell us how you
good.
really feel.
I just did. Yeah. So speaking of movies, segue terribly. Ukulele is getting a release date for Switch, December 14th. That's the next bit of news. So if any of you guys don't keep up on, any of the listeners don't keep up on Ukulele, it was released earlier this year, and it kind of got lukewarm reception. Like, some people liked it, some people hated it. A lot of people hated it. It's a collectathon game in the same genre as, like, Banjo-Kazooie, and there's another one.
The one about the squirrel. Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Conker's Bad Fur Day, but it's not, like, bad. It's not bad as in it's a bad game. Bad as in very naughty humor. But, yeah. So if you're interested in getting back to your 90s collectathon gaming roots, try looking for Ukulele for Switch, December 14th. Hashtag not sponsored.
Sports.
Well, speaking of sports, thank you for the segue. EA is being stupid again.
My
What a
God.
shocker.
Surprise, surprise.
This time, they're in the news. Actually, I heard something new again today. So, two things from EA today. The first one is Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, again. Everyone was getting really pissed at them, as usual. They were like, why didn't you just make it cosmetic, like, things that you can get from the loot boxes? And EA responded with, well, we didn't want to change the canon and the lore with Star Wars by giving Darth Vader a pink suit, because that would have been stupid. So that was that. And it's
boy.
stupid. They
Then don't make a pink
shouldn't have
suit.
gone with pay to win. They shouldn't have gone with you give them money and you can get the best stuff and then you win. That's stupid. Just make it cosmetics. Like
Here's an
cool
idea.
gun skins. Cool gun skins. New voice lines. Stuff like that. Stupid.
Different versions of the Empire emblem.
Yes.
Propaganda posters.
Really cool.
I have a completely revolutionary idea for companies like EA to put in their games. And I just
Oh, do tell.
guys, just bear with me on this, okay? What if they made all of the paid to win stuff or the paid DLC cosmetics? What if they made all that stuff and they integrated that in the game where you do specific achievements in the game, and then you are rewarded with the item that you wanted.
You know, if you are a true
Yeah.
gaming company, that's the perfect idea. But this is EA; they want to make money. So, and the other thing from EA is the UFC game, UFC 2018, I think, is also doing loot boxes. Problem with this is it's not going to get enough attention like Star Wars did, because Star Wars is a huge name. Everybody in the world knows Star Wars. Everybody. Even if you've never seen them, if you heard the main theme, you'd be like, huh, that's Star Wars. That's how big Star Wars is.
Right.
So a UFC game getting the loot box treatment it's not going to get as much outrage as Star Wars did. But they're still doing it. And it's the same thing. It's a pay to win scenario where you pay to get loot boxes and then you'll get better stuff, better stats, all that. I don't know how it would translate to UFC, but it just makes it easier for you to win.
I in my 19 years of tenure on this earth, I remember like the day. I remember the day that I realized, oh, this is going to be a thing now for paying to get extra stuff for video games. I was at my friend at the time. I was living in Missouri. I think it was either 2009 or 10. It was right around when Halo Reach was like announced it's going to be a thing. But I was playing Halo 3 with my friend Alex, and he was like, "Hey, they released new maps." I was like, "What? What do you mean?" Like, they have new maps to play on. I was like, "Oh, okay." And then they did that more and more. And I was like, oh, so this is going to be a thing now. They're just going to release more and more map packs and stuff to add to your avatars or your backgrounds and your stuff like that. So for me, it is that Halo 3 and etc. had popularized the idea that if we make more stuff outside, they will pay for it to get it inside. Which is a good idea, but it's still kind of shady practice.
At least that was content.
They did that with Halo 2. I remember Halo 2 had an expansion pack, but I think they released it as a second disc that you just throw on the Xbox and just update it.
And let's not forget that World of Warcraft has been doing this for over 10 years now. Granted, that's like worlds of new content and stuff, but it's still expansion packs, and it's $60 each expansion pack.
That's whole extra add-on stuff.
Yeah, but it's still
not like
paying. Like you buy the base, you don't have to get the expansion packs. You can just play vanilla WoW. I mean, nobody's gonna play it still, but
vanilla WoW was fun enough.
Yeah, that's why they're bringing back the classic servers. They're in classic servers. Yeah. So.
Speaking of RPGs, Final Fantasy and Mega Man to a lesser extent.
Well, Mega Man's not. Okay, sure.
It's not an RPG, but it ties in together with this bit of news about how both of their 30th anniversary is coming up.
This is true. I don't know too much about the Final Fantasy. I just know that they made an announcement that it's their 30th anniversary for Final Fantasy, and there's potential games coming for 2018. That's all I know about that. So if you're a Final Fantasy fan, get hyped because they're bringing new stuff. Who knows if it's like mobile games or like full-on games. I would like to see, I know a lot of people are excited about this, but I don't think it's ever going to happen because apparently it's not even really even done. But there's the Final Fantasy VII remake. That might get something next year. I think they should do it in episodes instead of just releasing a full game because that'll take forever. I think they should release it in episodes. That way people can get their Final Fantasy VII fix and it's fine.
Well, how many remakes does Final Fantasy have?
They have a lot of games. I don't really follow Final Fantasy. It's confusing.
They've got so many.
And it would be nice to see like what's the new one? 15?
Yeah, I think it's 15.
It would be nice to see Final Fantasy 15 get a port to the Switch, if at all possible.
I thought that was already in talks.
I think so. That would be nice.
I think the amazing thing about that, if they're going to be porting that to the Switch, is that it just shows the support of so many different developers wanting to add games to the Switch that have been on PC and Xbox and PlayStation. So I think that's pretty cool that they're giving the Switch a chance with these big name AAA games that are mostly well suited for higher functioning pieces of machinery.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but obviously Final Fantasy started on Nintendo platforms. But the only reason we didn't get Final Fantasy VII is because Nintendo was sticking with cartridges. And they couldn't fit the whole game on the damn cartridge. So they went with PlayStation and the compact disc because they could fit the whole game onto 2 discs. So that's why Final Fantasy left Nintendo platforms.
Yep, and then I've got Final Fantasy. I think it's 1 and 2. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's on the PlayStation X, the original one. Sorry, it's Final Fantasy 1. I've been playing through it for a little bit over the past couple of months. It's fun. It doesn't tell you anything. You have to get it all contextually from the environment and going to towns and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. It's
Zelda 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Cool. Classic
games doing really good about being immersive and being a game.
Speaking of classic games being a game and being immersive, Mega Man and Capcom are celebrating the 30th anniversary. So, yeah, they had a stream today. And
it's a big yeah.
That's a big deal because Mega Man is pretty popular and he hasn't seen a lot of light lately, or a lot of spotlight lately. So I watched the stream today. They had a nice special stream and a guy rapped and it was pretty neat. And he did like the story of Mega Man in a rap. It was pretty
Dope.
Dropping those rhymes. So Mega Man X 1 to 8 collection, that's coming. So I know that's a popular series, and that'll be on Switch and all the other platforms as well. And then Mega Man 11, which is pretty huge. They're coming out with a Mega Man 11, which they had a trailer for it.
Sweet.
Yeah, they had a trailer for it, and it's that in between 2D and 3D, where it's got the 3D graphics, but it's on a 2D plane.
Kind of like Crash Bandicoot?
Yes, but side-scrolling.
Okay, it's like a 2.5D. Yeah.
Yes, that one. That's what it is. It's 2.5D, and it looks really good, so that's fun. And finally, the Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2 are coming to Nintendo Switch next year with Amiibo support. So I know that's a big deal. So that the Legacy would be the original games, Mega Man 1 all the way up through 8, I believe. So that's all the original classic Mega Mans on the Switch. And all these are coming out, I'm pretty sure, next year. And it's for all platforms. So
I think the Legacy ones are coming out in spring, and then Mega Man 11 is going to come out like later on in 2018.
Correct. Correct. So if you're a Mega Man fan, get hyped because there's a lot of love coming your way.
A lot of
I'm so
hype.
man.
A lot of hype for games that are purely nostalgic.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty awesome.
Going back to like old games, like staying like relevant and being games, like I think this is really exciting, especially for that nostalgic video game player. Really exciting stuff.
So my uncle, who I have seen in the process of a day speedrun and beat, I think it was 5 Mega Man games. I think it was actually 1 through 5.
Oh my gosh.
He's gonna. I don't know if he knows about it, but I think he's gonna adore the announcement of a new Mega Man game that doesn't sound or look awful, and the fact that all those other games are coming to all of the platforms.
There's a guy that beat 3 or 4 different Mega Mans at the same time with one controller.
How?
Yeah, that was rad to watch. It was really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. He had it wired so that his controller controlled each different screen at the same time. So he had to time everything perfectly, and he beat the game, all 3 games. So that was pretty neat.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. There's some really talented people.
There are
Jealous.
greatly talented people.
Like the people who play Dark Souls on the Guitar Hero controller.
Correct.
Oh.
Or people who play Portal with a potato,
Oh yeah.
which I think is pretty meta. Portal 2 and GLaDOS and potato.
Knowing that, yeah.
Why not use a cake to play Portal?
I don't think cakes generate electricity.
That you can find a way.
I
Stick
mean,
a
if they
battery
don't
in the
generate
cake.
electricity, then I don't know. Unless you put a potato in them.
Yeah, potato
There you
cake.
go.
Potato cake. It's kind of like a carrot cake, but gross.
Oh, all this talk of potato cakes are making me hungry.
Yeah.
The one thing I do like about the Final Fantasy games and Mega Man, I've actually never played the games in my life. I've just never had the chance to. However, I did like the music for them. They did have a lot of good music.
Yeah.
Dude,
Mega Man's
they
got
were
some good
playing
music.
Mega Man music during the stream, and I gotta be honest, it was really getting me going. It was really good stuff. It was all like the chiptune 8-bit style. Yeah, Mega Man music on point.
Have you guys ever seen that? It was like this thing that floated around Tumblr or Twitter or something. It was like a Mega Man boss preview stage where it like shows the boss and then does their music for a little sec. But it was one for the Scatman.
Oh,
No,
that's
I didn't
cool.
see that.
I didn't see it either.
I saw it and I fell in love with it. And it's I don't know. I'll probably send it to you guys after we do this.
Do it.
No, yeah, music.
Yes.
Video game music does have a pretty awesome way of projecting the kind of setting off those that excitement and that thrill to
Final Fantasy.
yeah.
Its
Final Fantasy.
victory music is infamous. It's used in so many things.
And speaking of, we say that a lot in this episode. Music in video games, iconic music. With that, our today's topic is actually about Legend of Zelda's music and sort of the progression of it. How it went from essentially to 8-bit melodies to orchestras and touring orchestras that continue to play the music from throughout the series. So for me, it's a pretty big deal because I've always gravitated towards Legend of Zelda's music as a kid and even as an adult who is heavily involved in music and composing. The Legend of Zelda's music is a great inspiration and also just a great source of, just has a lot of great melodies, a lot of memorable tunes. Probably for me, I think, probably some of my favorite tracks would have to be like from games like Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword, and shut up. What is your beef with Skyward Sword's music?
Everyone has beef with Skyward Sword somehow.
It's not the
in one way
music.
or another.
The Ballad of the Goddess was amazing. That's an amazing track.
To give you guys background, listener, yesterday we had our little meeting, our little powwow to get information about this, what we were going to do, reviewing, and we thought, let's try music so that we can do our festive episode later, sneak speak spoilers, and we decided to do music. And then Zach said, I liked the music from Skyward Sword, and Adam lost his mind.
This is true.
It was like a 10-minute rant.
Yeah.
He nearly jumped through the screen just to choke me.
Yeah. Yeah. Through the microphone, into the headphones. Yeah. All right. So let's be clear. Let's clear this up right now for all the viewers.
Clear the air.
I hate Skyward Sword. I do not like that game at all. It is boring. It is repetitive. It is uninspired. And it was a waste of my time. That being said, I beat it twice. That being said, I beat it twice. Once normal, and then once on hero mode. And then I haven't touched it since. And there are two redeeming qualities to the game. The story is pretty good. All right? It's like one of the only Zelda games that has a legit good story. All right? And the Galactus battle music is awesome. Other than that, it's a dumb game. It's a dumb game. Come on, the one boss fight is a giant squid monster with the biggest Biggest obvious weak point. Come on, Nintendo. We get it. The eyeball is the weak point. No, let's make it the whole face. All right. If you know what I'm talking, it's the what's her name, Levias or
Ursula.
Ursula monster thing. Her whole face is her weak point. It's stupid.
The one thing that I had an issue with was whenever you're flying around in Skyloft and there's all the clouds, and then when you're on the ground and there's absolutely no clouds at all whatsoever.
The cloud on the surface is a different color than the clouds in the sky. If you look down, the clouds on the floor of the sky area are yellow. They're mustard, boring yellow. All right. Why is the sky yellow? Why not make it blue and white and beautiful and gorgeous to look at? No, the sky is yellow. And then when you go down to the surface and you look up at the sky's blue. What the hell, Nintendo? Make the sky blue all around and not just mustard yellow. And also the sky is incredibly boring. You fly around and the music is just dumb. It's it's stupid.
I have to agree. Also, the flying part was not my favorite, and I was not the best doing that with like the nunchuck and like going up and down. So it took me ages to get the hang of it.
Oh man, we could just have this whole episode be an episode of like Adam's hate rant against Skyrim.
He could. If we let him keep going, we'd be on this episode for about 3 hours.
Yeah. So let's change the subject back to music. My favorite music is A Link to the Past. There.
A Link to the Past. It does have good music.
It has amazing music. All right. All right. When I was a kid, let me take you down a little memory trip down Adam's memory lane. All right. When I was a child, the first video game I ever played was A Link to the Past. I was 8 years old, 7 or 8, something like that. All right. And it took me forever to beat that game. It took me at least a year, but I picked away at it. And then when I finally beat Ganon, which was intense for a child, all right? It was intense. And then I finally beat him, and then I went up into the magical staircase, and the Triforce started talking to me, and the it made me cry.
Adam.
And the credit music. All right, so you got the Triforce chamber music, which is fantastic, and then you got the epilogue music, you know, dun, 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 and it's like the story, and you're like, I remember them. Oh, it's the kid. He gave me the bug net. He was really sick because Death Mountain was evil. He's better now. Oh, look, there's the old man. He's still lost. What a fool. And then ending credits happen, and the ending credits. I listen to that on my phone when I'm sad because it just cheers me up. It's so calming and peaceful.
Aww.
The credits roll, and let me tell you something.
Victory.
if you listen to music and it's just that one specific type of music that calms you down, it like some people it's metal, some people it's rock, some people it's classical, some people it's rap, whatever, country, doesn't matter. For me, it is the ending credits of A Link to the Past. If I'm in a really bad mood, I'll pop that on and it woo-saws me. Yes, I love Zelda music.
Adam's mnemonic ASMR about Zelda music is probably the gem of this episode. Good night, everybody.
All right, we're done. I think we've pretty much discussed everything we needed to. Goodbye.
I think he like whispered, and it was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna listen more intently.
You're talking in hushed tones. That makes me interested.
It reminds me of a Dane Cook thing. He goes, you know when you're having a fight with your woman and she starts whispering? Do you know why they whisper? So you'll listen. There you go. That's why I whisper. So you guys would listen.
That'll be good. That'll be good information for the future for me. Well, one particular piece I like in Link to the Past is probably the Dark World theme. The dun 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 dun. That music I absolutely love. I just kind of love how it.
In the Dark World music.
Dark World music. Yeah, I love that music. Love that theme. It's wonderful. And
Okay.
okay, let's
Now they play that in the Symphony of the Goddesses orchestra, and hearing that song in a full orchestra with the vocal, with like the choir and the strings and the brass, the percussion, it is so powerful and awesome.
It is
guys,
phenomenal.
whoever is listening, go on YouTube, all right, and search Symphony of the Goddesses, all right, and then you go to, God, hold on a sec, I gotta bring up my YouTube. I saved the playlist because I love it so much. You go to Gilva Sunner, Gilvasunner, and he has a Legend of Zelda 30th anniversary Symphony of the Goddesses playlist. It's 14 songs, and they are all fantastic. They do a Soraya song, and it's like really upbeat, and it's like a fun march kind of thing. My only complaint is it's really short. They should have gone through it twice, but yeah.
I think no, I agree completely. Symphony of the Goddesses is phenomenal. If anybody listening hasn't seen them, then yeah, you should definitely go to their concerts. They are phenomenal. However, because I went there once and it was amazing. However, my one complaint is that the audience would not shut up. That this is the kind of music that you do not cheer and applaud in the beginning or in the middle. You wait till the end to applause. And the one thing I didn't like about it is that I think the director came out and spoke to the audience before the concert started. He encouraged people to cheer and shout whichever game they saw on the screen or the music. And in my mind, I'm thinking, no, do not encourage people to do that because we want to listen to the music. You're not at a heavy metal concert. You're not at a rock concert. You're not at a pop concert where the music is amplified and it's basically drowning out everybody else. And you can hear the music while everybody's screaming their lungs off.
That's not proper etiquette. Clapping and applauding and yelling and screaming.
This isn't
not during an orchestra.
Backwater performance for some Midwest high school where you get to bring your brood of disappointment and your 6-pack into the concert hall.
Yeah, and
show some respect.
Yeah, the music is delicate. It's very technical, and also as opposed to having 5-6 musicians on stage playing metal music, you have hundreds of 70 to 100 people in an orchestra playing at the same time on the same beat. And sometimes I can't even imagine how they can focus with that large amount of applause because they're trying to focus on the music. I mean, you're not doing a 4-chord progression you're not doing verse chorus end. You have movements, you have just different, just everything's about it is different. I mean, it doesn't all stay the same.
I've been in band, and it's not an orchestra, and it was back in school, but just that little taste of band, I can tell everyone listening that it is very difficult. First off, you have to concentrate on what you're doing, right? You have to listen, you have to know your instrument, and you have to be able to read the notes. And if you don't read the notes, then you shouldn't even be in band. Then you have to pay attention to your right and left to make sure that you're on tempo with the other musicians. And you also have to pay attention to the conductor because they're in charge of the whole thing. They set the tempo and they tell everyone when to be louder, when to be quieter. You can't just blare your own instrument because that'll ruin the piece. You have to follow the conductor's lead. There's so much you have to go with, and if people are in the audience, like these shows are packed. The first time I went to, there was over 200 people. There had to have been at least 400 or 500 people all packed into the stadium. All right. The second time, it was a little less because it was a smaller area. It had to have been at least 100 people. If everybody was just clapping and cheering during the whole song, it'd be chaos.
Yeah, it honestly, it is completely unwarranted for people to do that because I've never been in an orchestra, but I just know I could definitely see how complicated it must be because you have so many things to focus on at once, and you cannot break concentration, because if somebody screws up, it could be a domino effect. One person screws up, the next person screws up, then everybody starts getting off, and sorry, that came out wrong.
Smooth.
Freezing.
You gotta be on beat together. You gotta be off beat.
I believe
Be
that
off
was
together. Wait, what?
If one person is messing up in the orchestra, then that can throw everybody else off. So that was my one major problem with that. The funny thing is that this particular concert was in Minnesota. Minnesota is the hipster state of America. I mean, it's like the state of art. I consider it very hipster. For me, anyways, it's very hipster. It's turning all my friends into vegans and skinny jean wearing, bun wearing individuals. So I consider it a hipster state. And also, but at the same time, it's a state of a lot of art and a lot of culture. And it's just weird that so many of these viewers wouldn't exactly have that kind of etiquette.
My second favorite game with the music is Majora's Mask. I love the music. I went over it in the video in our other podcast with our favorite dungeons. Stone Tower Temple's music is just phenomenal. It really is. And the Great Bay Temple with its mechanical themes and it just sounds so robotic and mechanized. Good stuff. Good stuff. I don't like Woodfall Temple's music because it's kind of creepy and it upsets me. And I'm pretty sure I only hate that temple. I don't hate it. I just dislike going through it because of the music. It's just off-putting.
Yeah. That's the one game I haven't played, but I do like the music for it, especially all the different songs you learn on the ocarina. Those melodies are very
music
haunting.
Like Woodfall Temple and like the Monkey Palace. Like I thought that music was really cool. Yeah. It was fun. I loved it.
And then there's also the Twilight Princess part with the monkeys, and that was a jaunty little tune.
As much as we talked about this in the previous episode about the Fire Temple, I really liked the Fire Temple song in Ocarina of Time. The doo 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 doo. I don't know. It definitely gets stuck in your head.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love that theme a lot. The Ballora. Yeah, that was the Ballora Fire, right? Yeah, the Ballora Fire.
Mm-hmm.
There was something very strange about that tune for me that got to me. It was beautiful. It was like beautiful, but it was haunting at the same time. Like it was just very just calm in tone. And, that's kind of what I liked about it. I'd have to say probably one of my favorite tracks. I definitely like the music in Wind Waker, the overworld theme. When setting sail on the sea. I mean, that just feels like you're definitely on this high adventure. This wonderful adventure. Sun is shining. You got sea breeze going through your hair, and yeah, it just screams adventure.
Yeah, the first time setting out from Windfall Island and just the dee 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 da 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 da. It's great.
Yeah. Especially like when you caught like a wave and your boat like went up, you just got really into it.
Well, I jumped the waves.
Yo, yeah, totally.
I go up on the wave and then I jump because it's like whoosh, whoosh. That feeling.
Yeah, that game was a lot of that game was so much fun.
The best flying mechanism that came in a Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
You just get that air in the boat, get the wind in your sail.
Mm-hmm. Literally, because that's how
you are a pirate.
R, M-A-T. Hey, what's a pirate's favorite letter?
No, please don't.
Don't say it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Well, what's a pirate's favorite restaurant?
What's a pirate's favorite letter, Tristan?
Arby's.
Anyway.
Another good track in Wind Waker, at least for me, is definitely the I like the I guess in the like the Earth Temple, like the Earth and the Wind Temples are the mini boss themes. The really high paced I don't even know how to describe it. It's just very high paced.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know
Some
what
of
I mean.
the mid boss fight music is better than the boss battle music sometimes, except for the sand one in the Wind Temple.
Yeah, I like that music.
Moldorm?
Well, that was a fun boss fight in general.
No, it's not Moldorm. It's
No,
got to be something else.
No, I think it's Moldorm. That sounds about right.
Okay.
You could just say a giant worm. I mean,
Giant sandworm monster. God.
Yeah. Nobody will fault you for that.
I'm breaking. I need to know.
We don't need. I'm pretty sure it's Moldor, or we can just call it giant sandworm. We can just call it that.
That thing
Mulgara.
from Doom.
Mulgara.
Okay, well you got part of the name right. Anyways, but yeah, that music was awesome. Super awesome.
On that playlist I suggested you guys look up, they do an orchestral version of that. They do like a boss themes orchestral, and that's on there, and it starts out really soft, and then the orchestra kicks in, and it's just like, oh, chills. Oh, it's good. Hearing the boss music fully orchestrated, because not all the boss music in the Zelda games is orchestrated. Like especially the older ones, it's the electronic synth stuff. So it's still cool, but hearing it fully orchestrated, it's like, man, I really wish they would redo all the Zelda games with fully orchestrated boss battle music, because I would pee. That's how cool. That's how energizing it is.
Well, there's a soundtrack. It's actually the first article that I wrote when I came on the Hidden Triforce. It was kind of a review of this Legend of Zelda musical score. Not musical score, but score that was basically a recreation of Ocarina of Time's music, arranged and created by a 60. I think it was like a 64-piece orchestra.
Oh.
And
did they tie it to the game then?
Oh yeah. It's all the music is from the game, and they even.
Well, I meant like, did they go back and then put the music over gameplay?
No, they didn't. But they completely re-energized the music. It wasn't. None of it was synths. Everything was entirely orchestrated.
Now, see, I want someone to take that and piece it together in like a gameplay footage thing. So like someone's playing the game and they've figured out how to cut together all the different music pieces into loops and stuff and play it in the game. So like, you're in Kakariko Forest, and then there's Kakariko music thing, and then you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. The one thing I liked about this is that it just made the music feel a lot more massive and alive. Not to say that the original music was that, but more so just because it was created by used with an actual orchestra and not synthesized music. Hearing the Castle Market theme, or the Castle Market theme, it felt like you were like in the first few minutes of listening to it. It felt like you were like walking into a hugely populated Hyrule town, not a very small, dinky little marketplace, but just a massive, castle city. And I mean, it was exactly that. Again, I can send you guys the tracks, and I can definitely attach it to this podcast, because I truly believe that if any fan of Ocarina of Time has to hear this album.
Please do.
It's wonderful. It's called The Hero of Time, and it's made by
fitting.
Yeah, it's very fitting. It's simple. It's straightforward. People know what it is. Composed by various artists, and I can't remember the name of the production company, but I know the production company is basically recreates video game music. I believe they have done like Final Fantasy. They've done Castlevania. They completely re-energize the music and arrange it in a way that's original, but it still fits the nostalgic, vibe.
I definitely have some like game music on my like workout playlist. Sometimes like I think there's like a Lost Woods like dubstep version, and I mean it's kind of cheesy, but like it does get you like super hype So I really love when people do that. They're really creative.
Let's see. On my music library on my phone, I have available to listen to the Zelda 25th anniversary CD, orchestra CD that came with Skyward Sword. I have the soundtrack to Breath of the Wild, which is kind of boring. I have the soundtrack to Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, A Link to the Past, Twilight Princess, Super Mario 64, a special 25th anniversary Mario CD that released with the rebundle of Super Mario All-Stars, if I'm not mistaken. And I have Super Mario World. And then I also have Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, and then both soundtracks for Super Smash Bros. That released on 3DS and Wii U.
Adam, I need to correct you on one thing.
Yeah.
The Breath of the Wild soundtrack, it wasn't a CD, it was a sound selection.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. No, but see, I went on the internet and I got like the full thing. I didn't get the sound selection one. I went on and I got. Oh, and I also have the soundtracks to Terraria because I like the moody atmospheric. I have the soundtrack to Undertale because that music is phenomenal. If you played Undertale, the best part is the music. The story is like second. So, yeah. And Shovel Knight. I also have Shovel Knight. Sorry.
You have a lot of soundtracks, don't you?
I love soundtracks, bro.
Well, so do I. I love soundtracks. I used to listen to the Jurassic Park soundtrack to go to sleep when I was younger.
So good. Did you go to sleep?
Yeah, I did. It put me to sleep. No, it's all right. I love that theme. I will warrant it.
I would get too excited to go to sleep.
I was a big scaredy cat when I was little. I kind of needed that white noise, as you would say, and that was just like the music would just, it just helped me fall asleep because something was presently there that I enjoyed.
For me, that is the sound of a fan.
Well, then good for you. My white noise is Jurassic Park. Yours is a fan.
Well, Lottie, Uncle Tom, duh.
Uncle Tom.
You and your...
What even?
Is it a heavy metal fan, though? Is your fan a heavy metal fan?
No, it's plastic.
Oh.
It's a standy fan.
Oh, so it's a pop fan.
No, it stands up on a thing, and you can adjust the height, and it's an oscillating fan too. So if I so choose, I can have it rotate and spread air around the room. That's my leisure.
All I'm saying. Go ahead, Christine.
More bourbon.
I can't. More bourbon. Adam's pre-showing well into the show.
Delicious. I think one of my favorite pieces of music from Twilight Princess is Midna's Lament.
I was just gonna say that.
Agree.
I was just gonna say I was gonna be like, I don't mean to be the Lionel Richie of this argument here, but I'd like to say that my favorite piece is Midna's Lament because it somehow motivates you to go fast to a slow song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's the running
to get
piano.
across the map as fast as possible.
Like the high pitched piano is like the dee 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 dee. That part is like the chill part, but it's the constant running piano. But beneath it, the dee 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 dee. That's the part that makes you want to go. It's like, oh,
the pale midnight on your back.
Yeah,
It's just
she's dying.
Her body can't compensate for blending into the world of the light because she's been part of the Twilight Realm for so long, and then she's basically super poisoned.
Now I have
Zelda turns into nothing dust when she gives her life back.
I have a problem with the consistency of that game because it is clearly stated that she is of the Twilight and therefore cannot be in her solid Twilight form in the light world, in the light realms, in the normal Hyrule world. She has to be in a shadow. But if you play the game and you watch, when Link enters Gerudo Desert for the first time, what is she? She's in her full Twilight form. She's not in her shadow form.
But it's nighttime though, so
it doesn't have to be nighttime. It can be daytime, and I've done it both, and she is both in the her solid form in that cutscene.
I'll have to look that up. Yeah, I would definitely have to check it out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Not wrong.
I didn't really pay attention to it just because that's just how much I enjoyed Minda as a companion character. She's a lot of fun. So
She also does it again in the Sacred Grove when you pull the Master Sword.
well, maybe the Master Sword gave her the ability to do it. I don't know. Magic. It's Hyrule. There's all sorts of things that go along that just. I don't really sometimes at this point with Legend of Zelda, I don't always bother with consistency. Well, sometimes I do, but it comes to a point where it's just like there's so much ridiculous craziness that's going on. It's just like, okay, I'll just let it slide. Have a suspension of disbelief. That's just what I go with.
All right, fine.
Just
wish they would stick to the continuity they had
don't
established.
you be passive aggressive.
They
with
wrote
me,
the
Adam.
rules. They wrote the rules, and then they broke the rules,
Adam.
and then
I
they
mean-
wrote them again.
Dude,
Adam?
Zach is from Montana. He's got passive aggressive on lock, almost as good as anyone from Los Angeles.
I thought he was from Minnesota.
I'm from
He's in Minnesota.
Well, yeah, we're kind of passive aggressive too. Minnesota nice is just a euphemism for being passive aggressive. There's no Minnesota nice. We're just passive aggressive.
I like
It's
aggressive
too damn
kindness.
cold.
I like being aggressively kind, like aggressive compliments. Like when someone's like, "Hi, you look really nice today," and then you turn around and really angrily you just say, "No, you look really nice today."
Oh,
This is very confusing.
well, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There was a bit on the comedy radio station on my Pandora that I heard the other day. I forget who the comedian was. It could have been either Chad Daniels or Dan Cummins. I forget. But he has this thing about where he gets mad whenever people don't say thank you whenever he holds the door open to them. So he yells aggressively, "You're welcome,"
That's fair. That's fair.
and
That's
it's
fair.
good.
Do you hear about this thing where a little off topic, but we'll get on topic again because I have another music thing in mind. Do you hear about this thing where old people, or not old people, the elderly or the older people, like
Very
40
PC
and
of
up,
you. Very
like
PC of
40
you.
and up,
Barbara.
they get really upset when younger people don't say you're welcome when
I
the
heard
door or
this.
whatever. Younger people tend to say no problem or.
Mhm.
Or something like that. And the theory is you're welcome implies that they went out of their way to hold the door. Like it was an extra task that they didn't need to do and it was a trouble to do. But no problem implies that it really was no problem. They were happy to do it. It was not an extra task or anything like that. I don't know.
Oh, I heard it the opposite way actually, where it like say in like retail, whenever somebody does something for you and they say thank you and you say no problem, it's more like, well, why would it be a problem? This is your job, so you should say you're welcome.
A discussion in sociology.
Sometimes I feel people just put too much thought into certain things.
Yeah, I mean we gotta be PC here. We can't say
Yeah.
Christmas. We have to
Yeah.
say the holidays.
Did you just assume Christmas is gender, Adam? Did you just assume
Yes.
the
Yes.
gender of Christmas?
Hey, for all we know, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Santa might not be a guy.
Isn't it Jesus? What was Jesus' gender? Let's go back and ask him.
I'm sorry. I had to fit that millennial colloquialism in there.
2017
We
years
all
ago.
gotta fit in.
Yeah. So okay, back to the topic at hand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about
Fi's-
music, so don't forget about that.
Fi's theme when she's saying goodbye.
Oh,
Like I don't in Skyward Sword, I don't like Fi's character. She's way too intrusive, interrupting your gameplay every 5 seconds, and I just want to play the damn game. I just want to play the game and have fun, but I can't because you keep interrupting me. But I got to be honest, when her slow little piano played, right? She goes in, she says goodbye, and then she comes back out and she's like, "Link, I just want you to know that you're my friend and you're great." And it's just ding.
He's getting real heavy with the ASMR. He's getting real heavy.
That was I could listen to that on loop.
Do 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 do. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
theme
and then
so
it gets
much.
a little bit more full, and then it goes back to quiet. I like
Yeah,
that.
that is a
That's
great...
another good thing.
Well, that Fi's theme, Fi's Farewell, and Ballad of the Goddess. And the one thing I love about Battle of the
And
Goddess...
Coloctus.
and Coloctus. me, this was kind of a shocker, or it wasn't a shocker, but I was just like, oh, that's awesome. Is that when I learned that Ballad of the Goddess is Zelda's Lullaby backwards?
Correct.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I heard that a long time ago.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Do-do-do-do.
So,
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. So that was
Knowledge is
that was
power.
one thing that I thought was really, really cool about Ballad of the Goddess, was that it was Zelda's lullaby played backwards, and it was the theme of basically the. I would say this maybe the second incarnation of Hylia, not the first incarnation of Hylia. Or I guess we can leave that up to debate for next time, because sometimes I get kind of confused on the whole timeline thing.
Are you talking about Zelda in Skyward Sword?
Yeah, which
She is the human reincarnation of the goddess Hylia. She
Okay.
gave up her immortality to be reborn as a human because goddesses cannot they cannot use the Triforce. Only the mortals can.
Mhm.
There's your Zelda lore lesson for the day.
Mhm.
So she was she gave up her immortality and was reincarnated as the first Zelda in Skyward Sword. So it's technically the second version of Hylia,
yeah.
but the first reincarnation of her so far.
I think it would be kind of cool. I don't know how this would work, but I mean, I feel that if it's in a Zelda series, it probably could be done through some loophole, or just for some sheer alignment of the stars. But I think it'd be really cool, like in the next Zelda game, if somehow perhaps like Zelda actually came face to face with a shade or specter, if you will, of Hylia, because essentially
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool, because
Yeah.
they'd be meeting, they'd be finally meeting each other, and yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think
Yeah.
about it, this next DLC, which we should get an announcement on at the Game Awards, which is in a couple weeks, I think.
Hooray.
So hopefully. But, I mean, it's been said it's Zelda-centric, and what statues are scattered across all of Hyrule in Breath of the Wild?
the
Statues of the goddess Hylia. I mean, you get the upgrades, for your health and stamina upgrades from the statues there.
Ah.
So if they're gonna do it, they might as well do it in Breath of the Wild, right?
They might as
Little
well.
extra story tidbit where she talks to the statue, and Hylia actually manifests a little, and she's like, "Hi, I'm like your ancient ancestor. You're kind of
I'm
like
inside you.
exactly
I'm like your divine girlfriend here.
a little bit of me is inside of you."
A little bit of Monica in my life.
Oh
A
boy.
little bit of Erica by my side.
Oh boy, you didn't make that creepy at all.
So speaking of Breath of the Wild, the music is garbage.
Okay,
Oh, I like
Uh,
the trailer music.
The trailer music was fantastic,
When
and
it
I
was
said this
the
before. I
original
think it was
release.
last night in our little get together. The trailer music for the story that they did at the Game Awards last year was so good, and it got me so pumped because it was like 2 months of waiting, and I played that on repeat multiple times every day because I was so hyped for it, and it's not in the game.
that music made me
Speaking
cry.
of trailer music that's really good, Star Wars.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
for the new one.
And when it was 2015, the trailer for Force Awakens came out. The number one part of that trailer that I heard that I fell in love with was when the Imperial March bit started up
Uh-huh.
with the dun 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 dun. And it was just the marching drums, and it was a new, fresh take on it. It's not in the movie anywhere. It's not in the soundtrack. I looked all over for it. I tried isolating the transition to that part of the song. I love it so much. It's so cool.
Mhm.
And then this year's trailer and its music was phenomenal, and it's sweet
was really good.
Jesus, I cannot wait.
Yeah, honestly, I have to say Breath of the Wild's story trailer I thought was probably like the best trailer I've ever seen, especially because of the music itself, because the music was just so grand and just
It makes you
Saw the
feel
trailer?
full of wonder.
it does.
I loved it. Yeah.
Mhm.
It really does.
And when I saw the original release, like the teaser little trailer, the announcement trailer, and I heard the music, and I was like, oh, this is gonna drive me insane. And
I
it's
think-
not in the game, from what I
Yeah.
hear.
Well, I think the one, Yeah, of course, the reason, obviously, the reason that Nintendo did it was they wanted the game to be more about atmosphere, not so much about music.
Yeah.
If you
Sometimes
wanna
you don't
if you
need,
wanna go with
sometimes
that
you don't need
argument,
music.
yeah, in some cases you don't, because exploring the world is already wondrous in of itself. However, I feel it kind of leaves room for when you go to Hyrule Castle.
Right.
That's when the music starts to pick up and becomes more like Legend of Zelda. And actually, it throws in, if you listen to it, at least for me, I kind of heard a little bit of Ballad of the Wind Goddess, or Ballad of the Wind Goddess, Ballad of the Wind God, or the Windfish, whatever it's called, um, from Link's
Wind
Awakening.
Waker. Oh,
Link's Awakening.
okay.
Yeah, I think it was called Ballad of the Windfish. You know how it goes
Yes.
do 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 do, and it mixes that in with
Oh, yeah.
it mixes that in with Zelda's Lullaby and Hyrule Castle's theme, like perfectly.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm gonna play something, and I want you to tell me your first emotions. All right, you ready?
Ready.
Panic.
Straight up panic.
Panic.
You should.
Where
Norman,
is it?
Norman, you should put that on your workout playlist.
Oh no, yeah. Then that'll make me run very fast.
That'll get you running.
Just make sure you have your
Put the
ancient
treadmill
arrows.
put the treadmill speed up to 10.
It's
Just
like
start freaking out.
It's like
Try not to fly off.
the treadmill. The little treadmill match just sets on fire. She's going running 50 miles an hour.
Or like on the elliptical. Oh my gosh, I can only imagine.
Honestly, I would say that'd be excellent. That'd be excellent workout music, just because that again, like that piano trill. You're just walking with that kind of soft, ambient music, but all of a sudden you hear that piano trill, and you're just like, oh, crap.
I'm here to mess up your day.
I think my favorite scores or music pieces from Breath of the Wild, the trailer music, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones worth really listening to on repeat, maybe Water Blight and Wind Blight Ganon. The other ones are kind of boring. They're the most interesting, I would say.
Which still does not fit with the Wind Blights at all. Again,
Of course not.
I still wish that the bosses in those divine beasts were corrupted forms of the champion. Of the
Would have been
champions.
better.
Oh, yeah. It
Like you cleanse
better.
their spirits of the malice, and then they can give you the power, and they pass on. That should have happened. The Moldova music in the desert, Gerudo Desert. The Moldova music fights are really good. The Lost Woods. That when you're trying to get through the Lost Woods to get to Koark Forest, the Lost Woods music is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also in the giant labyrinths. That's the same music in the labyrinths.
Is it the same? I didn't really. I've
Yes,
never
it
realized
is.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it is.
Of course, Hyrule Castle, and then Beast Ganon Phase 1 and 2. Yeah, the Beast.
Those
Yeah.
those are great themes as well. Very great.
All the other
themes.
stuff is just like ambient music and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for. But I mean, to each their own. They wanted to be more about the ambience and the scenery, and I can respect that. I think it would have been a lot. At least I hope with the DLC. I hope that it certainly maybe picks up on. We should add more thematic music because the Legend of Zelda's music has gotten to that point where it's no longer that 8-bit melody. You're utilizing actual professional orchestras, and
It's such a staple. Yeah, I agree with that.
It is.
Speaking of which, how comes we haven't mentioned the original classic 8-bit theme from Legend of Zelda, almost as iconic as the Super Mario Bros. Theme?
Well,
That's true.
I would argue that
Yep.
well, it's because of that theme. The rest of the music kind of grew from that one simple theme.
Yeah.
And it just just keeps getting better, and I'm sure, and I have no doubt that it will keep getting better. It'll continue to inspire, different, orchestras, musical styles, utilizing that melody, with fan made music, covers, all sorts of stuff. So it's always really exciting to see what people do with, the music from Legend of Zelda, how they utilize it for inspiration.
Have you guys ever heard Smooth McGroove on YouTube?
I want to say
He
yes,
does.
it sounds familiar.
He does.
No.
Is he
what is
is
that
the
called?
acapella guy? Is he
Yes, he does acapella covers of music,
Yeah.
and he's done several Zelda songs. And he does all the parts, all the instrumental parts, but with his mouth. And he has like each vocal part has his own camera, and like it must take forever to edit together.
Oh yeah.
But his
That's
songs
really
are
awesome.
he's really good.
What was his name?
Smooth McGroove.
Smooth McGroove. I like his Castlevania.
Smooth McGrooves.
I like his Castlevania video.
Smooth
or
McGroove. I'll put it in
Tears.
the
That's a
chat.
good one. So okay, well, with that, I feel we've discussed a lot on Zelda's music. Kind of some of our favorite tunes.
And there's still more, like the GBA games, like the Oracle games. They have really good music and all that.
We could definitely. If we go on for any longer, we could talk hours about this. But again, I want to kind of keep these episodes an hour. However, we can certainly extend the topic to the next episode on Smashing Podcast, because I would certainly love to talk about more about the music, because there certainly is a lot more to talk about. But I feel for now this is a good place to stop.
But Zach, you're forgetting our last segment.
I'm getting to that last segment. If you'll give me 2 seconds.
No, I have to keep up the tradition of interrupting your almost convincing exit
Wrap up.
speech. Wrap up.
Okay, fine. All right. Yeah, so let's not forget our games of the week. So, Norma, let's start with you. What have you been playing this last week?
I have been playing Splatoon because my nieces are really into it right now, and I just want to see what they're playing, and it's actually a lot of fun. Like, I didn't think I would have that much fun playing Splatoon.
Cool. I haven't played Splatoon,
One
but
or
I heard
two?
good things about it.
The first one.
Oh, okay.
I hear good
Sorry,
things
not
about
that cool.
Fair enough.
Now, whatever is a lot of fun, whatever they most enjoy. It doesn't have to be the most current stuff, but as long as they enjoy it. That's awesome. Adam, what have you been playing?
Well, Zach, I've been glued to my Switch playing Skyrim, and I have it on PC, and I have all the mods on PC, and it's really fun on PC, but I can't be on my PC constantly, and I can be on my Switch constantly, and I have been having so much fun playing Skyrim. I don't care if I played that game 100 times, it never gets boring. I love that game. And also, when I'm not playing my Switch, I've been going on Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, which is kind of fun. It just really, really makes me want a new console version of Animal Crossing really badly. I just want to play a full-on Animal Crossing on my Switch, because that would make me happy. And Nintendo, why haven't you done it yet? But yeah, Skyrim and Animal Crossing Pocket Edition.
Nice.
Pocket Camp.
Well, I think it's pretty amazing that you can commit time to Skyrim on the Switch when you have 2 newborn babies. I think that's pretty. You are an excellent multitasker.
I am.
You need to find time
because I'm a guy, and guys are notoriously bad multitaskers. So.
Well, you need time to yourself. You need your me time. And when it comes to Skyrim, I mean that's just the way it is. It's just the way it has to be.
Skyrim is almost exclusively me time.
And is that what you've been playing, Tristan? What have you been playing this week?
This week I've been playing Final Fantasy 1 on the PlayStation 1, and I've been playing Skyrim on my Xbox One, but I went into the Creation Club and I pansied out. I paid money for it. I got the points so I could play the survival mode in the Creation Club thing, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good challenge. It adds a lot. It adds a lot, like fatigue, hunger, because I wanted to find out if it was good or not, and it is. I love it. It's a lot of fun. It adds a whole new challenge to an already fun game, and I like it. I fall into the dark side, the dark pit, the pity of.
Well, like, what does it add to it?
It adds a tiredness difficulty to it. Like, you have to sleep, you have to eat, you have to be aware of the temperature. There are certain things that can happen to you. Like, if you eat raw food, you get food poisoning. If you oh crap, I forgot the other one. You have to be able to like monitor your carry weight, because originally you start out with 300, but if you turn survival mode on, it cuts it in half at the beginning of the game.
Oh, wow.
So you get from 300 to 150, which is not a whole lot at all. It basically turns Skyrim into Oblivion.
I think it starts with 200.
At 200?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it starts with 200.
I went on as a Nord and I got 150, but I think weight has to do with that as well. Yeah. But it also adds that in order to level up, you have to sleep. It basically turns Skyrim into Oblivion. And I think that's a fun little thing, because I like Oblivion a whole lot, and I thought it was really fun. And leveling up in your dreams made it added a whole new bit of lore that I thought was really cool. But I begrudgingly say, please, give it a chance. Other than that, Final Fantasy.
Awesome.
Yeah, other than that, Final Fantasy 1. It's a lot of fun.
Well, that's really awesome. That's really awesome. I haven't played Final Fantasy, but like I said before, but I don't deny that they're probably awesome games, because again, I think the music for those games are pretty awesome, and I would definitely like to try out that Skyrim survival mode. But although I do kind of play somewhat casually, just because just a way to pass the time. And actually, the games that I've been playing, again, a repeat. I've been mostly just playing Warframe with a buddy of mine online. So that's pretty much it. Being a space ninja is a lot of fun.
I've been thinking about looking into Warhammer 40K.
Oh, I just started that up again from it's been a decade, and my uncle was like, hey, let's get into this. And I was like, let's do it. And it's a lot of fun. It's a definite money sink.
Okay.
The tabletop game.
I'll have to think about it then. Doesn't it have video games to it?
It has, there's
like RTS style?
There's a mobile game, and then there's the video game that came out on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3.
Okay.
And I think there's a couple other ones littered and sprinkled around everywhere else. But I like the mobile game. It's a lot of fun. It's yeah.
I might pick up a book or something, because I know they have books on it. So I might pick up a couple books to read a little bit into the lore, and if it interests me, maybe I'll pick up a game somewhere.
Codex Imperium 1 and 2 are the stuff that you need for the basic setup bits on your Space Marine Bros.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So yeah, that's what's the games that we've been playing for the past week. And once again, thank you for joining us on another wonderful episode of Smashing Podcast. And I believe next week we will definitely cover more music from Legend of Zelda series. There's just so much more to talk about.
Why don't we expand it to video games in general?
Or we could do that as well. We could definitely do that.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
I love that.
I'm down for whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely next week we're in a very musical mood, I should say. So be prepared for more musical tunes on the way. And once again, thanks for tuning in. I'm Zach Katowitz, and y'all have a wonderful rest of your week.
Bye.
Bye, guys.